Barbie was a project that really surprised me in the summer of 23. Directed by Greta Gerwig, Barbie didn't just aim to be a simple ploy to get kids to buy more dolls. Instead, the film had something it wanted to say. We initially wanted to do a video on it when it came out, but just never got around to doing so. And when we realized it was approaching its 2nd-year anniversary, we couldn't pass up the opportunity. But we don't just want to glaze it from what we remember 2 years ago. We wanted to take a look back at the film and see if it was just as good as we remembered, or if it was just mere surprise that played a bigger role into our judgment. To do that, we have to look at things objectively, and that's when we decided to look at the perception of the film from all sides.
What none of us expected was 114 minutes of spiteful, bitter, mean-spirited, borderline unhinged hatred of men and everything even vaguely associated with them.
Really you. As Barbie becomes disillusioned to her world, Ken becomes enchanted with a new fantasy of living in a patriarchy. Watching how Ken liberates himself from the matriarchy in many ways mirrors how women in the 60s awoke to their potential by seeing himself in powerful masculine role models and seeing masculinity represented as something powerful.
Kate McKinnon sets up the dichotomy that pretty much the makers of the film hate Barbie by suggesting that you can live in Fantasyland with Barbie and you can take the Barbie shoe, or you can take Birkenstocks, right? You can become like a Portland lesbian and you can learn about reality.
We all know Barbie became a household brand of hyper-femininity and unrealistic beauty standards. And Barbie in this movie is an analogy or caricature of what women might actually face these days. With high beauty standards caused by the media, if Barbie is not pretty and nobody likes her, is it still worth living?
Oh yeah, and the president is a black Barbie, of course. Again, the subversion is not exactly subtle. After this, we see how Margot Robbie Barbie's life is perfect, and she's perfect. She's supposed to represent the original Barbie, the one that is basically just a blonde bimbo with no personality, right? And this is a problem because she's horrible for women's beauty standards. How dare you want to be attractive? You should love me for being fat, ugly, and disgusting.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So anyway, Barbie...
Okay, now that we've done that, I wanted to talk about the film and how they were able to use their marketing strategies to garner interest from the audience who were both Barbie fans and non-Barbie fans. Yes, I'm looking at you, the boyfriends who were dragged by their girlfriends to see this film. And I also fit in this category, so I'm allowed to say that. Truthfully, even I thought it was just going to be a goofy and unserious film. And at the time, I would have much rather seen Oppenheimer instead. Which brings me back to the marketing side of things. Barbie at the time felt like it was burdened with the task of coming out on the same weekend as the highly anticipated Christopher Nolan film Oppenheimer. Initially, I thought it wasn't the best idea, but interestingly enough, Warner Brothers played into all of the social media fun that was taking place within the fandoms. I probably couldn't go further into this retrospective without addressing the elephant in the room. With today's political climate, it's becoming increasingly difficult to talk about female and minority-led projects without someone in the basement calling you woke or a shill. I obviously disagree with those people because I believe art is supposed to be progressive, and pop culture has always pushed not only our forms of media forward, but it's also helped push our society forward as well.
I am not dead. Yeah, we'll try this one. And I'll say it just once. Go ahead.
Barbie has managed to make a very real story about the struggles women and men face without pinning men and women against each other. Well, there were parts in the film where they did make fun of men, but really, the overall message is that everyone can learn to be better people and contribute to society together. Although it's not a perfect film, and it might not have covered every single topic women and men go through, there is never going to be a perfect film. But there is always room for more opportunities to tell more stories. Barbie did touch on toxic masculinity and how it affects men. This is such an issue that men were being judged if they decided to watch the film. It goes so far back into our childhood where things are separated by color and categories, such as pink is for girls and blue is for boys, dolls are for girls, and G.I. Joe are for boys. The perception around Barbie for men was so bad, someone asked me if I was bored because they saw me watching it. Barbie featured a star-studded cast from Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Will Ferrell, Simu Liu, Michael Cera, and America Ferrera. With a cast this stacked, anyone who was interested in this film was surely wondering what kind of story was Greta Gerwig going to tell. Was it a story that relied heavily on satire? Was it a story that made you stare directly into the face of corporate America? Was it a story about self-reflection? Or was it a story that pulled on your heartstrings? The answer is yes. Barbie follows the journey of stereotypical Barbie, who is dealing with feeling the emotions and pressures of the woman who owned her in the real world. Barbie believes she changed the world because in Barbie land, the world is led by women. She believed that in the real world, she had changed her world too, but she finds out it's actually run by men. That brings us to Ken, who has been isolated because he is mainly seen as Barbie's side piece. Nothing more than just Barbie's love interest, until he's thrown into the real world where he discovers the patriarchy and is infatuated with it. While Ken is learning that men have all of these roles in society, Barbie is trying to figure out why she is experiencing depressing thoughts and why her appearance is changing by going after who she thought owned her, a girl named Sasha. Barbie took our world as we know it and flipped it. We understood that for a long time a woman's purpose was to only serve their husbands, and their husbands had all of the success and their needs met. Ken is experiencing the idea of being seen but not heard. But not only that, the film also acknowledges the damage toxic masculinity has on men. The film plays on stereotypes that are placed on us and tries to put us in the other person's shoes. Sure, Barbie ends with the woman running Barbie Land again, and the men are still earning their spot. But that is where we are in our real world. Women are progressing, and although our political climate has been jarring, women have come a long way. When the audience finds out that Barbie actually belonged to Sasha's mom, we find out why Barbie is experiencing these things. Sasha's mom has a moment in the film where she breaks down how the expectations of women from men and women alike can interfere with their mental health. One of my favorite aspects of the film is how aware the creators of the film were. Every movement, every line spoken felt like something these characters would say or do. Like when Ryan Gosling's Ken breaks out into the popular song I'm Just Ken, it was very silly, but I enjoyed every single second of that performance. Barbie is at its best when it allows its characters to be just that, characters. There is that one thing that was wrong about Barbie.
I'm not stereotypical Barbie pretty.
Note to the filmmakers, Margot Robbie is the wrong person to cast if you want to make this point.
Oh, well I guess that covers it. Not to say that pretty people don't have self-esteem issues, but usually people feel that it's hard to believe that someone as beautiful as Margot is will feel that way about herself. Greta is aware of the audience she is trying to attract, so the movie does a great job playing into what people might be thinking as they watch it. In today's world of television and film, the term success has a different meaning than it once did over 10 years ago. Now, I don't want to point any fingers at anyone, but fine, I will. It's all Marvel's fault. There, I said it. I mean, ever since the Infinity Saga concluded, God forbid a film performed anywhere less than $1 billion at the box office and audiences online would ridicule said film for flopping or saying outrageous things like, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it didn't hit $1 billion at the box office, so it must be trash. I just want you to know that there is a special kind of place for you when your time on this earth is over. Anyway, Barbie, by current standards, is a financial success. Barbie has grossed over $1.4 billion at the box office and stands at an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes stands at 84%. Moral of the story: it's an honest and reflective film. People shouldn't feel like they're doing something wrong because someone else gets their story told or someone else is cared for. Why is it wrong for a film to talk about a person's struggle? Why is it taboo for a film to focus on one demographic? This film isn't just about one person, but again, there will be films that focus on others. What's important is that it doesn't only focus on one demographic for years to come. Everyone deserves to be seen and heard. A film could only talk about so much, but it can open a discussion. Barbie isn't just for women or little girls. At the end of the day, everyone can learn something from Barbie.